Fluctuations in the price and availability of oil have the power to directly affect our lives. When there's not enough of it and the price is high, it can literally bring us to a standstill. And of course, for decades our supply has been managed by a cartel, OPEC, and in 1973 we felt the force of their grip. But recently oil prices have fallen fast and dramatically. And cheap oil, and lots of it, has no less an impact on our everyday lives, and thus politics.
The first thing to say is the oil price needs to stay at this new $50, $45 level. It may bounce up to $100. Most people, though, are not predicting that. And the reason is that OPEC, the oil-producing cartel, has decided to fight America for market share.
With that price level, a number of things do happen and should happen. Filling your car, businesses filling fleets is cheaper, and so should our energy bills be, which for Labour might cause problems with their energy price freeze policy. Indeed, on face value, the political benefit goes one way.
Lower oil price means lower inflation, which means your wages go further. It means that interest rates aren't going to go up probably until 2016 at the earliest, may even be longer, we just don't know. All of that means it's better for the average Briton, and normally that kind of impact favours the incumbent party, the coalition in our case, ahead of the May election.
Of course, we have our own oil fields in the North Sea, and whatever the Chancellor may gain in political capital from cheaper oil prices, the Treasury loses in oil revenue. There's also a jobs risk for communities that work in oil, mainly in the North East and Scotland. Of course, the SNP had planned for those revenues to play a major part in an independent Scotland. So are their plans now scuppered by those revenues being cut in half?
Scotland's GDP without oil is the same per capita as the UK's GDP with oil. So oil is a bonus for Scotland, and Scotland is a fantastic place regardless. But the price of oil going down at the moment does not affect Scotland because sadly we're not independent. Now what will happen with oil in the long term is always difficult to guess.
Should the price go up again as quickly, all this is rather academic. But in the meantime, surely the government is dancing with glee. Well, in the short term maybe, but cheap oil has long-term risks.
Low inflation isn't necessarily brilliant for Chancellor Osborne. It means possibly the income tax isn't going to come in. It means that he can't inflate away the value of the debt. If you have deflation, price falling, then actually the value of the debt increases. We're not there yet, but that must be a worry.
Finally, there are those who worry we rely too much on oil. We should wean ourselves off, go the distance and tackle the environmental effects of using it. But in a world where it's cheap and helping to boost battered economies, that argument can get much harder to make.